Hey everyone, it's Mandy, here with another episode in the Reclaiming Wellness series. Last time, we began the journey towards unpacking and understanding our mental schemas. As you might have noticed, the stories that we tell ourselves distort our sense of reality and our sense of ourselves. This phenomena is referred to as cognitive distortions. They are patterned ways of thinking that happen as a result of our mental schemas. Today, we're going to discuss the most common forms of cognitive distortions. I'm also going to show you how to start training your brain so that you can kick those pesky cognitive distortions to the curb. Let's get started. If mental schemas are the stories that we tell ourselves, cognitive distortions are the lies that we tell ourselves. A critical difference between the two is that mental schemas stem from some external messaging or socialization in our environment. There is a reason for why we think or believe the things that we do, even if they might not be objectively correct. Cognitive distortions, on the other hand, are often irrational, maladaptive, and patterned ways of being. They're how we interpret our stories. Since patterns in behavior often go unnoticed, cognitive distortions quickly wither away at our self-confidence and carry a sense of doom with them. While there are many cognitive distortions, we're going to be focusing on the 6 most common forms of them. Let's get started. The first cognitive distortion that we're going to be discussing is called should statements. Have you ever found yourself saying, this all could have been avoided. I should have done this instead. Does that sound familiar? Should statements often carry a sense of shame or guilt, and they stem from feelings of inadequacy. These feelings are often self-constructed and reinforced the more and more that we say and believe these things. An example, I should have known better. I could have done better. I should have done this instead. The next cognitive distortion is mind reading. This is where we think we know what others are thinking, but it usually relates to us, and it's usually very negative. An example of this could be interpreting laughter anywhere in the room as always being connected to someone making fun of you, when it's not really the case, and you might not even have evidence to prove that it's the case. The next cognitive distortion is personalization. This is similar to mind reading in that it involves an assumption of others' thoughts, but it more so focuses on the individual believing that all events revolve around them on a critical personal level that can't be solved in any way, shape, or form. In this mindset, a bad grade might be perceived as the result of a teacher hating the student. Fourth is catastrophizing. This cognitive distortion causes a person to genuinely feel like the sky is falling constantly. There's an embodying sense that something will either go wrong or that something did go wrong and it's going to mar them for the rest of their lives. An example of this could be believing that one bad grade is going to ruin their entire career, if not ruin their entire life. Next, we're going to talk about overgeneralization. Overgeneralization speaks to our natural inclination to have a confirmation bias, which means that we look for things that prove what we believe is right. Unfortunately, this cognitive distortion only magnifies the negative things, causing us to believe that we are bombarded by negative things constantly. As a result, all of the positive things in our lives are filtered out. A person could have an objectively pleasant day, but fail to win a random contest, for example, and genuinely believe that nothing good happens to them in their life. Finally, we have dichotomous thinking. This is most popularly regarded as black or white thinking. It's the classic all or nothing mindset. You're either a winner or a loser, with no in between. Unfortunately, this cognitive distortion is skewed so that you see the nothing a lot more than you see the all. It negates progress by focusing on perfection, and thus has a person competing futilely against an impossible standard that they actually believe is possible. An example of this is when a person believes that missing one day of a workout means that they are never going to achieve their workout goals. Now that was a lot. If you find yourself feeling on edge, take a moment to close your eyes and breathe deeply. If you need to take a break and gather your thoughts, feel free to pause this video. I want to challenge you, though, to interrogate these thoughts and expose them for the liars they are. In order to counter cognitive distortions, we must first change the way we think. This is a tall order and not one that we can accomplish overnight. But we don't need to accomplish everything overnight. That's the beauty of wellness. It's a journey, not a destination. It's progress, not perfection. I'm going to show you an activity. If you can challenge yourself to keep a log similar to the activity I'm going to show you for even a week, you're already doing way more work to heal than most people dare to do in their entire lives. So let's take a look. Take a moment to scan through the example on this slide. Read through the negative self-talk as well. Does any of this sound familiar? For most people, it does. As you can see, our default way of thinking is often very negative, which causes us to feel negatively, which then causes us to behave negatively, and then the cycle continues and continues and continues. Oftentimes, we believe that the cycle is doomed to repeat, so we don't even expend the energy to try to interrogate it. The thing is, we can break this cycle, and it all starts with how we interpret the initial events. Here's the tricky part. We don't want to interpret it as negative or positive. We want to interpret it as neutral. Stress becomes bad when we allow it to go through the cognitive distortion filter rather than a neutral lens. A situation is just a situation. It is what it is. We have the ability to create what happens next. Let me show you an example. When we first interpret an event as neutral, two paths in the road appear, a negative response and a positive response. We have the ability to choose, even if the option seems foreign to us. Do you see the difference? Let's try it for ourselves. Attached to this video is a worksheet that you can use to log your patterns for a week, or even every week if you're really feeling up for it. Try to notice how you initially interpret an event. If it's anything but neutral, do your best to convert it to a neutral event. Take note of how you feel, try to determine the ways that you might have poorly coped in the past, and then create a way that you can more beneficially respond this time around. If it's difficult at first, don't give up. Take one baby step at a time. It's all about making progress. Self-love begins when we allow ourselves to overwrite the lies that tell us to love everything but ourselves. Cross-examine the lies that you have long believed to be true, and you'll make all the progress you need to on this journey. Thank you for joining me on yet another episode of the Reclaiming Wellness series. I look forward to our next journey together. Bye.